We got there about 7:30,
Yep.
and we queued up, and it was really cool. It was like there were a lot of people outside.
On Saturday, March 22nd, hundreds of same-sex couples rushed to courthouses across the state.
I was just waiting for them to rule because we knew they said it within 2 weeks.
Yep.
So every day I was looking and looking and looking. It was a Friday, and we were out. I don't know what we were out shopping for, but her sister texted us and just said woo. And so I was like, oh my God, I bet they ruled.
Judge Bernard Friedman struck down the marriage amendment that prevented same-sex couples from getting married. Josie Lee and Kristen Draybuck were one of the couples who rushed to the courthouse to say their vows.
They do so many marriage licenses at a time, and everybody would come downstairs, and it'd get real quiet, and then you'd hear like a wedding, and then there'd be all this applause, and then it'd get quiet, and there'd be a wedding.
So that was kind of cool too. You'd see.
Yeah, we saw a lot of people get married.
After another.
After years of their unofficial marriage, they were finally together under the law.
So we had a wedding, unofficial wedding, in June of 2010 with our families and friends, and then we actually got married on the 22nd.
But within 24 hours, Michigan Attorney General Bill Schuette put a stop to the marriages.
The judge ruled, and then they put a stay on it the next day. So right now we technically don't have any rights.
Because of the stay, the marriages won't be recognized by Michigan, and couples are scared because it is unclear what is going to happen next.
I mean, there are real people behind it. I think that's what people forget, right? Like, there's real feelings behind it. And you could feel the tension changing, right? It became less like excitement and more people were scared.
Couples are currently stuck in limbo, causing confusion on what benefits they can receive.
So federal taxes, we can file together next year, because obviously that's always a year behind when you're filing your taxes.
We get Social Security benefits now, and the spousal death benefits. And we have to have a card that says we can go visit each other in the hospital.
The American Civil Liberties Union sued Michigan on April 14th for refusing to recognize the same-sex marriages that took place in March. There are a lot of people out there who don't support this, and what would you like to say to them?
I think people are raised differently, they have different opportunities, they have different experiences, and I think you have to just get to experience people who are in same-sex relationships or interracial relationships or anything that you're not comfortable with to understand the people. I'd like to welcome people to just getting to know people or just not being afraid of experiencing more than what's in your backyard. Everybody's hope is that as a nation we continue to develop, right? We continue to grow.
And the growth is starting to show. Since 2008, 17 states have passed same-sex laws. Josie and Kristen are clearly married in their hearts, but in the eyes of the law, their marriage is still uncertain. Hannah Livingston, DTV News.
I'm Matthew Smith.
And I'm Hannah Livingston. DTV hit the campaign trail to bring back everything you'll need to know about this year's election. Davidson is exploring new ways to improve learning. Research shows knowledge is retained better with small breaks. So Davidson administrators are exploring the idea of a balanced calendar. A balanced calendar would shorten summer vacation, but would also allow for small breaks during the year. You can help a family while enjoying a delicious treat. Student Council is selling donuts and cider before school this Wednesday at the gym entrance. You only need $1.50 and all the funds from the sale will be given to a family in need. And if you can't make it this week, then come back next Wednesday.
Well, Davison, that's it for sports today, so we'll throw it back to Matt and Hannah on the desk for the rest of your news. Guys?
Thanks, Trace. The season of giving is on the way, and members of Davison are giving back. The Cool to Care donation drive is back at the high school, and we have a goal to shatter the record. If every student donates just 10 items, then we would have a total of 16,000, which is double our total from last year. Bring in cans, non-perishable food items, and personal items. You can also donate cash. $1 equals 2 cans. These donations will go to Outreach East and be given back to the people in Davison that need it. Cool to Care has started, and I've already brought in some cans, and I'm really excited to help some people this year.
Well, Hannah, we double our goal from last year from 8,000 to 16,000, and I mean, it's ambitious, but I mean, if everyone donates, I think we can hit it.
Well, it sure is a great cause. Well, that'll do it for us today, Davison. I'm Matthew Smith alongside Trace Clinton and Hannah Livingston. You have a good one.
We have already looked at the problems with poverty. Now we are back with Professor Douglas from the University of Michigan and State Senator Dave Robertson about how to fix these problems. Hello again to you both.
Hello. Hello.
All right, we'll start with how can we fix this problem with poverty on a national level? We'll start with you, Professor.
On a national level, I think the best thing we could do is maintain an environment that's conducive to job growth, in particular full-time job growth.
Anything you would like to add, Senator?
Well, I agree with that. I think that both at the
And what about on a local level? What can we do inside our own community?
In terms of alleviating poverty, I think everything we said about the national economy applies to the local economy too. So promote full-time job creation, remove any barriers towards full-time job creation.
And what has the government done to try to reduce poverty, and has that helped any?
I think it would be hard to say that if you throw all that money at poverty, it didn't do something.
What could an individual do to help themselves get out of poverty or their own family?
I think valuing education and investing the time and effort and energy to become educated.
Do you think there will ever be a day that in our country, we can eliminate poverty completely? And how long do you think it would be if we can reach this? Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. Here at DTV, we have partnered up with the school district to try and help stop poverty within our own community. Grant Palmatier has the story on this next.
It could be anyone. That boy you pass in the hall. The girl you sit next to in class. Your best friend. It could even be you. Poverty isn't something you can point out from a glance. Most people have clothes, a house, and food, but some not as much as others. There are people who barely get by every day, and no one can tell.
It's difficult to identify because we're trained that you can look at someone and tell that they're homeless or that they're poor, and you can't. And so we often make judgment calls that are misjudgment calls because we'll think, oh, you look fine, you'll be okay. And really, you haven't eaten for 2 days. We're looking at thousands of people who are receiving services every year, not counting the people who aren't receiving services and who don't know, who have not a clue on how to receive services.
Some families don't even know what signs indicate they need help.
Inability to meet basic needs, having to make choices between paying your utility bill and feeding your children, or having to make choices in buying your medications or feeding your children.
But how do people get here, to a place where they need help? Many are born into it, it's all they have known, and they have never had a chance to break free. Others lose their job and their income drops significantly. Some people get a health problem that sucks all their money away for treatments and medications. Others live paycheck to paycheck and are one moment away from losing everything.
But what should a family do when they start to struggle in their everyday life?
The first thing to do would be to take inventory of your resources. Is there family that can maybe take you in, or families join households to kind of lessen the bills and things like that? But as far as if you find yourself really needing community resources and you don't know what to do, the first thing we tell people is to contact the Department of Human Services, because they have mainstream resources.
But if people are so desperate for help, why aren't they getting any?
You have things that you would probably guess, like pride. If I've been able to maintain all of my life, and my family was never in poverty, and we work, we have jobs, and all of a sudden I'm finding myself struggling, I may not seek help until it's too late.
There are many places to turn to for help inside our own community, while people who don't need help have many ways to give back to others.
Donations are always nice. Financial donations to the organizations that are helping is always nice. But if you don't have that, maybe you have a blanket that you're not using. Maybe you have a sleeping bag that you're not using. Maybe you have 2 or 3 hours a week that you can donate time.
As for families in Davison, their children have opportunities to help them at their school.
One of those is our free and reduced lunch program. And through this program, students can have lunch and breakfast every single day for free or at a very, very reduced price here at the high school. They also have opportunities to retake the ACT for free if they're on free and reduced lunch. They also can apply to colleges for free if they're involved with this program. Additionally, there's times where they can do AP testing for a very, very reduced price with this program as well.
But just like in the real world, people are eligible for programs and don't even know it.
What we know from our percentages is that students are signing up more frequently at our elementary levels, and by the time they reach high school, our numbers are lower.
It only takes a simple form to apply, and everything is anonymous. Nobody will know you are getting things for free.
Our students, I think, try to make do, and many of them say, you know what, I think somebody else needs this more than I do. But actually, This is not taking away something from someone else. It actually benefits the school and individual students if they sign up for these programs.
Don't suffer in silence any longer. Step out of the shadows and reach out to programs that help. If you think you need help, stay tuned for a complete list of programs in our area at the end of the show.